Hey everyone, it's Rightplan here from Novagamer, and once again we are doing Mighty Quest for Epic Loot. So this is our second or third castle defense. We did do one castle defense at the beginning when we didn't really know, but this is the second castle defense where we're actually getting some pretty good defenses here. So if you didn't see the last really good castle we did, which had quite a few deaths, kills basically, you can go check that one out. But if you already have already seen that one, we promised you we would make another castle, so I've tested this one out for a bit, enough to show you guys here. I'm not going to go through building this one with you, only because it's pretty much already done, and it takes quite a while to get this stuff to keep building it. So what I'll do is I'll go through square by square and show you how I have things set up and what I did. Before we do that, I'll show you how this castle has done on defense. So go to battle log. You'll see if you look at the top, this is why I want to start changing it. People are becoming used to this castle now. I'm noticing that some of the same people are coming back to kill it again and again. So I want to change it up so that they'll die and I'll get more points. But if you remember the last video, I was only at like 800 or 900. Now I'm up to over 1,000 for my crowns. And if you go to the leaderboards here and go to country, you'll see that I am third in Canada right now. Ah, woo! Ah, okay, that's it. What do you got? 45 worldwide, first in friends, and first in the league that I'm in. So the next league would be at the 1,100 mark. So I have to make it to there. So basically, if you check here, you'll see why this is getting such. Now, once again, it's impossible to make a castle that has nothing but wins. They have made some changes to this game that you'll notice when you're looking at these. Last time, if you remember the last video, I believe it was in our traps and tricks video that I talked about had the downfall to the crowns, how somebody can attack your castle over and over and over and over again, eventually beat it, and get a crap ton of crowns from you. They have fixed that problem, so that is good. I'll show you a quick example here. So if we go down to Rockmark, for instance, you'll see that my castle beat him and he got 7. Now the old way that it used to be is that if you go to Revenge here, you'll see that he is actually 798, so he is way below me. So technically, the way that this castle would have been before the patch is he would have lost 7, and then he would have kept fighting until he won, and then he probably would have won 14. But they changed that. Now they made it so you have a chance of winning a huge amount, but then if you lose, then you only have a chance of winning a small amount, and then it gets smaller and smaller. I think it's either after 3 or 4 losses, you can't get any crowns, but you can still get the loot if you want the loot if you make it through the castle. But it makes it so it's more difficult to get rid of somebody's crowns completely. But I have gotten some positive remarks to this one. You'll see that like very cool castle. This guy said no trap equals no skill, but that's because people don't like traps. Some people want you to put, but then if you put nothing but monsters in, then they say all monsters, no traps, no skill. So you can't really please everybody out there. Let's see here. He said awesome, and it's pretty funny that he said awesome because I actually killed him too. So, but people like this castle. I'm not getting a lot of negative from it. That guy said I went full retard, but good job. Or good game. I think he meant to say good job, but he said good game. Whatever. And if you scroll down, very creative way of using traps. Well done. What the fuck? Because if you watch how this guy died, you're actually going to laugh at this. This is why. This way you can see the castle too, and then I'll go through the castle step by step. So we'll use him because he gets pretty close to the end. I have changed it up a bit since he's done it. I don't have these traps here anymore, but I'll show you why. So he makes it through there. Skips past that guy, so this guy's a skipper. I do the same thing. I try to drag all the monsters to the end and then kill them at the end. So far so good, although he has been skipping a lot. Even if he made it right now, he wouldn't have made it with the crown. He wouldn't have got many crowns because... And here it is. There. And that's why he said, what the fuck? Because that's what happens. So I will show you now. This here is before I changed the castle. Right about here, where this guy says good set of traps, is where I changed the castle to what it is now. So we have gotten more wins as soon as I started building that castle. Got a couple losses, but 2 of them are the same person. So if you keep coming up, I noticed that some of the traps, that's why I changed the traps. I wasn't getting many wins, so I tried to get more monsters, and that's where I started getting a win, 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 loss, win, loss, win, win, loss. So you'll see I'm getting, on average, more wins than losses now. So I improved the castle enough, but I just got 3 losses in a row, and I try to change things up after 3 losses in a row. My best point to give you guys on that one is check the replay on every single video. It might be tedious, but you can see exactly what everybody's getting past and how they're doing it, and you can try to stop that. If you just keep changing your castle and just keep making guesses as to how people are dying, you might see their dead body. Like, I'll show you here, for instance. So you might see somebody's dead body sitting like right here on the corner of these traps. That doesn't mean that these traps killed them. It could have been these 2 monsters. It could have been these. You don't know. So the best thing is to watch, because they could have made it past these bombs, went through here to attack these guys, and then tried to back out, and then those guys shot them and killed them right here. So it's really important that you check all of your videos of people that beat your castle, and you really analyze it to see how they beat it. That's why, once again, I'm going to change this castle again. Just to show you the steps on what I did. The major changes I've made recently to this castle is I used to have floor traps like these all the way through here. I didn't have them up here. I always like to have one room as a time killer, so that the first time somebody runs it, they're 9 times out of 10 they'll do the time killer room, and they won't be able to beat your time. So that gets rid of one of their stars automatically. So I always try to have a time killer room. I don't do what other people do and have like 4 rooms that somebody has to go walking through to find out there's nothing there, because you lose trap rooms if you do that. So I always just make one empty room. So I took the floor traps out because what I've been doing is I'm trying to, the one that I find keeps, if you go to the kill log here, you'll see that that was a warrior, but mage, the mage and 2 archers died. This mage made it. This mage died. See, the mages and the archers, it's kind of up in the air whether or not they're going to lose. But almost always it's a warrior. Like that's 3 warriors that won, and only 1 that lost so far. So I mean, warriors are really, really hard to kill. See, like the next warrior down, boom, he won. He won. Like he lost here and here and here, but that's the same guy. I mean, he's level 28. So he's not level 30. My castle's at level 30. So when a level 30 warrior's there, oh, boom, he won again. So my goal is I'm really trying to design one that's really hard so that it will kill warriors quite a bit. Because I find warriors are the hardest to kill. And if you can get a castle strong enough to kill a warrior, then you have a castle strong enough to kill the rest. Let me just show you here. So what we'll do is we'll go over what I have for the castle so far. I'm going to completely rip this one apart after this video. I'm going to make a new one, and I'll do the same thing as we always do. I'll make a new one, I'll test it out for a bit, I'll show you how it fared. But this one here is actually quite a good castle if you want one to start off with, just to get, and you could tweak this a little bit to add some extra little things in that you like. And people have been seeing the videos. I have noticed that some people, when I'm running castles, have like almost an exact layout of a castle that I just built and put a video up of. So it's good to see that people are liking the videos and liking the castle designs. So if you guys want to see more and you want me to continue doing these to help you guys out with castle designs, just comment below, let us know, and let us know if there's anything that you guys have for ideas to add to these castles. So without further delay, I'll show you this. So now if you watch our previous castle video, which is the Castle Defense 2 video, you'll see we talk about this trap here. So I put that trap in there. I'm not going to really tell you how to make that trap right now and the perfect way to lay everything, but if you haven't seen the video, you can kind of see it right here. And all I'll say is the archers had to be set for bear trap or trap keeper. I put one of these here. You always, if you're going to have a time killer room, you always want to have at least one mine to the entrance of the time killer room. You want something that's going to lure people, because they'll come and kill this one, and they'll think that there's more up here. So then that's when they'll do it. If you don't put one there, they might think you're trying to trick them, and I have seen a lot of people that won't go that way if they don't see anything. So you can put back in the floor traps that I had in the spike traps. Or what do they call here? Just a sec. I always forget the name of those ones. Oh, I was right, spike traps. You can put in the spike traps here like I did, and I had this right here. So you can do that if you want. The problem I found with it was at the most people were only using one potion going through there, but floor traps really aren't that great anymore. I'm kind of starting to sway away from them. You can see where I used to have them. I had them here too. So before I go into room by room, just look at the castle. I'll leave it here for a sec so people can pause it if you want to see the floor plans that I used and what order I put them in. You can use the same order, I don't care, or you can make up your own order and use some of these designs. But these designs I put down are the best for doing what I have done here. So, before I go on, I'll mention those spike traps in the next one. So, time killer room, got that. Here's the starting room. I like to start with the trap right off the get-go, because if you can get somebody in and kill them right off the start and end any chances that they have of making it the rest of the way through, or at least getting some of your mines, because they can still take the gold out of your mines even if they die. If you look on the oh, you can't see it if they do it, but they don't take all your gold like this, because the big pile of gold is what you get at the end, but they do still take some out of your mines. That's why when you run a castle the second time, you only get one at, like, piles of one instead of piles of whatever the mine was. So they'll make it through this trap, or they won't. And once they get through there, I put these two guys here. I'm really debating keeping him there. He seems kind of pointless. So once again, I'm redoing this whole castle, so this will not be... I will probably keep this trap, but I'm trying to perfect this trap. This seems to be the best trap I've seen. Now, the big problem I'm having with this trap lately is when people come in... Actually, you know what? I'm going to save that for our next Traps Tricks video, so you guys are going to have to check that out, because there's a way that's super easy. Actually, sorry, I showed you guys one way on the last video, so if you want to see the last Traps Tricks video, you'll see how you get past this super easy. But if you don't want to do it the way that I have it in the video, there is another way to get past it, and I will show you that in our next Trap Tricks video. So after that one, I went to a full floor trap, spike trap room here. So same design. The key thing with spike traps, I don't know if I said this. Now, this kind of doesn't apply to that rule, but this here does. The rule is that you really want to have something at the end that they need to get, but you need to force them to have to go back through it to continue on with the rest of your castle. For instance, if I put this right here and didn't have any spikes here, well then he's only going to go through the spikes, or he or she are only going through the spikes once. Oh, sorry about that. I got Facebook problems. There we go. The only problem here is that if they go this way, they're only getting hit by the spike floor traps once. But if you put it here, they have to go through it twice. So this here actually equals the same amount of damage as putting down 2 rows of this. And you're only using 4 traps to do it, maybe 5. So it's way more beneficial to do that. So remember, always have something that they need, and make sure they have to go back through. So that's the spike trap room. I'm also going to be removing that. The big problem that I was trying to say before, but I said I'll save for the spike trap room, is spike traps are slowly going down and being really damaging. My warrior, for instance, I can literally just walk over spike traps and not even care. Like I don't even try to dodge them anymore. I just walk right through them because they don't bother my warrior. Which a lot of people are making warriors like that have high physical damage. Because if you go into here, you'll see here that the bite does 735 physical damage. So For instance, my warrior has. I'll go to my warrior right now. So here's my warrior. My warrior has 1,031 physical armor, so I can reduce physical damage done to me by a lot. So I can literally just walk right over these spike traps and it doesn't even faze me. So that's why I'm trying to get away from spike traps, because I'm trying to design one that kills warriors. Because they're the ones that are killing my castles the most. I'm pretty good killing the mages and archers, but not the warriors. So once you get past the spike trap room, this is set up exactly like the first room. So look at the first room, look at this, and you'll see that if this was the entrance of the castle right here, and you go back and look at that, you'll see that they're both set up exactly the same. The only difference is I have a couple extra cannons. That's it. So another one of those, and the reason why that is because sometimes they don't know how to get past this trap, and they just get lucky and get past it. So it's a second chance for them to get killed by it. And then my pièce de résistance. Here's the final room. I have seen this room cause more damage to people than a boss room. Now, the only problem with it is there is an easy way past this. It's not really an easy way. There's no easy way past this room, but there's a way that you can easily kill all the monsters in this room and kill the 2 mines. We'll show that in also the next traps and tricks video. But there's a really easy way to get past this room with only taking probably 1 potion at the most. Or less, depending on how much physical and magical armor you have. But the way this room is set up is we have this design, and then coming in the entrance, I put down 1 cannon to keep them moving so they can't just stand here and wait. Keeps them on their feet. You want to always try to put a cannon down whenever you can in an empty area. It keeps them having to move and keeps them so that they don't want to just stand there and ponder what to do next. I put a slowing trap. Kind of works like the slowing trap is beneficial because for temporary acts like one of these gelatinous goos. So it slows somebody down. Obviously, people by this time know what that does. But then I put a green one next to it, which will increase damage done to them by 50%. I think it's 50%. Let me just check that for you. Yeah, reduces the damages armor and health by half. Sorry, health and damage by half. Oh, armor and damage by half. There we go. 3rd time's the charm. But I used one of those and one of these ones up here, the glue mine. And that's how you start it off. So they'll be slowed, they'll take more damage, and then it's harder for them to set this one off without making it throw them. It's still highly possible for them to do that, but it's just a little more difficult. Then I got 4 more sets of the corrosion mines here. And with the corrosion mines, some people would put fire mines like right next to it. Like they have a corrosion mine, fire mine. You can do that, but I mean, that extra little burst of fire mines really isn't going to kill them. And you're better off trying 2 chances of getting this whole hallway filled up with green goo to get them to take the extra damage. The reason being is the whole point of this is not for them to hit the traps. They think it might be, but it's really just to get them to hit the green goo so that when they get in here, they're taking way more damage. So the way I designed this, it's kind of set up the same way on both sides. You will not be able to do this room like this unless you put... So I'll pause here for a second. Well, not pause, but just not move the screen for a second. Your traps, your power supplies for the traps, you want them in these areas. If you don't put them in these areas, as you can see, this one is doing all these plus these 2 traps. This one is doing these 2 traps plus the rest. You have to have them right against these corners, as you'll see we have on the other side too. Because if you go in, there's those 2. If you don't get these ones out here to do these, then you're going to have the issue of these 2 energy supplies aren't going to have enough juice in them to keep these traps activated as well. So you need to really set it up just like this. So what I did was, once I come through, you got the what's the name of these traps again? I'm really bad with remembering the names of them. Hamster wheel. I always try to say rat trap. Keep forgetting it's a hamster and not a rat. But anyways, you want to set these up so that they are going across the room in this direction, but you don't want them to all be the same direction. So you don't want all the hamsters to be moving in the same direction at the same time. You want it crisscross like this. You'll see that one hamster wheel's up there, one's down here, one's up there, and they switch back and forth all the way. This way they can't sit there up here and wait for all of them to come down and then do a roll in or a dash in before they all come back. You want to make sure there's always one there to hit them. So what will happen, as you saw with that archer that went in, they'll go in, they'll get hit, they'll get stunned here, and then I have both sides set up identical so that there's no advantage to going to one side or the other. You want one here to stop them from just sitting back here without having to keep moving. One of your cannons, they have to be back here in this corner, because I put one there because what people were doing was they were running in and they were sitting way back in this corner here, and then they were killing everything and not taking any damage at all. So I had to put one of these here to keep them moving. I put down the hunger bots for an extra stun, so you click the throwing punch for the stun. I put the sprint on the cyclopses and traps on the smelly archers. And then I put 2 silencers in on each side, so that's 4 silencers. The reason being is you're trying to stop somebody from rolling or dashing out of this as quick as possible, or for instance, the warrior to use his healing strike and heal himself off one of these monsters, or off of the mines. So the good thing about this is you want a mine on each side. You have to put a mine on each side. If you do not put a mine on each side, somebody will see there's no mine on the other side. They'll only kill the one mine and then they'll leave. You want to make it so that they have to kill one on one side and then cross all the traps again to the other side and kill that mine and then come back through the traps again to get out. The big key to trying to kill people is, especially warriors, is try to make them do something repetitively where they have to keep going over the same damage things over and over again. Makes the most out of it. Like if you could almost make like a circle and make it so somebody has to go through over and over and over again, I mean, it's almost impossible to do. But if you can make a trap setup like that, it'd be really nice. And then to finish it all off, I put one more room with the 3 mines in here. I put one in the back corner just in case. I have seen so far 2 people skip this mine and think in their heads that the mine must be somewhere back here. And they just say, screw it, I'm not going all the way back through. So they come through and they finish, and they only get 1 star because they could have just walked around this corner. I have seen it happen twice. So I still do that trick because once in a blue moon, somebody doesn't think of it. And it saves you a star, saves you from getting as many crowns taken away. But there you have it. So this is the new setup that we have for you guys. So I'll just do another zoom out here for you one more time so you can see the whole thing from this angle, because it's the last time we were up at the start. So here you go. So right after the mine trap, right after the mines, it's pretty much just they've made it and they get to go home. I'm going to make the next one. I'm going to try to incorporate, for instance, this kind of a room, but into a bigger area and more monsters. This is where I see people having the most trouble now, and they're not having as much trouble with these traps. So I'm probably going to improve these traps and maybe only put 1 in, and then create a more difficult monster room. So that's what I'm planning on, so we'll see how that works out. It's going to take me a bit, and I got to save up a bit more of my life force because it's going to take a lot of building to do what I think I'm going to do. But I'll get that one built for you, put that video out, and then that will come out in probably next week or so, so that I have a chance to put it down, test it, find out how many wins and losses, and give you guys a breakdown of how well it worked. But anyways, if you guys want to see anything else from Novagamer, any other games or reviews, just let us know in the comments below. You can also contact me at john@novagamer.net on email, or you can find us on Novagamercrew on YouTube and Google+, and Novagamer on Facebook. But that's it for me for now. I will make another traps tricks video just to show you how to get past this one the second way, and the best way to deal with this kind of a room, to give people a heads up. I have noticed people are using my tips on how to get past these traps because people were dying like crazy to them, and I've lately seen people doing exactly what I said to do to get through them. I don't know if it's my videos or if they are just figured out on their own, but either way, it's good to see that people are starting to find ways around these traps, so it makes us trap creators more difficult to think about a new one. So there you have it. All right. Once again, if there's anything else you want to see from us, put it in the comments below. If anything you don't like about this video or want to see in the next video, comment below as well about that. We'd like to hear all your reviews and comments. And as always, happy gaming.